Mm-hmm. What's going on this evening? I'm gonna give it a minute. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I said, how y'all doing? Good evening. Good evening. Nope. I see you. I see you. This should be pretty interesting because I wasn't gonna come in, but I had to. All I know is what I know. You better not get in trouble today, boy. What's going on? Can y'all hear me good? If you can hear me pretty good, please let me know something in the comments. You know, I'm still trying to work this out. Still trying to work this out. See you. I see you, Joe. Uh who else is in here? Who else is in the building? Hmm. What's going on? We are in this room. We are in this building today. This conversation that I want to try to have with y'all tonight. It is, I don't know. I want you to talk to me. One of these days I'm gonna figure out. I already know how, but I got to get another phone so I can have some people to actually call in, so I can get some different voices in on this thing here. Um, how was your Sunday? Let me know in your comments. How was your Sunday? I know somebody you don't type that fast, but that's all good. Let me see how I want to set this. I'm gonna set this up for myself. All right. So how was your Sunday? Good. 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 All right. So far, so good. I actually got the chance to come home and get me a little quick nap. You know, my mind be racing 100,000 miles an hour, but that's neither here nor there. Listen, let's hold on 1 second. Yeah. All right. All right. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. For some reason, I wanted to, from a relationship standpoint, I wanted to talk about this T word, this word called trust. This word called trust. And I know that there are different people on here. There are male and female on here, and everybody in this room, everybody that's watching at some point in time, you've experienced heartbreak. You've experienced something where you lost faith or you lost trust somewhere based off of an expectation. But just in the comments, I don't know why I took my glasses off because I can't even read your comments. I guess it's the glare. But let's start like this. Let's start like this. What is trust? What is trust? And some of you, when you respond, I'm going to put your comments on the screen. What is trust? I'm gonna give you some time, because, and especially if you're sitting there with someone that you have a relationship with. It'd be cool if y'all watching this together so you can kind of break down some parameters, because I think between us, everybody's area of trust, everybody's expectation of trust may just be different, right? Everybody's view of trust may be different. Some people, I think wisdom and experience will teach you a whole lot about trust. But I think we are more familiar with not trusting than we are with trusting, to where it causes us at some point to be control freaks, to where we have to control the situation in order to be able to control the outcome. Am I clear in saying that? Let me see. What is trust? Let me see. Big Mo, what's going on, Mo? That's my cuz, Maurice from Atlanta. What's up? He says, I think trust is it's the faith that things are unfolding as they should, even when it doesn't make sense. I like that. I think trust is. And did you cut and paste that, cuz? Because that look kind of profound with the little colons and all of that kind of stuff. But that's good. I think ah, it's the faith that things are unfolding as they should, even when it doesn't make sense. How many agree with that? That's an idea of what trust is, right? You got an idea that that's what trust is. So you use the word faith. So when you start talking about the word faith, faith is I know the biblical meaning of faith is what? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's a Hebrews 11, right? But faith and trust, of course, it goes hand in hand. Or most said he thought of that on his own. So yeah, it's in your blood, bro. It's in your blood. Uh, when it comes to about faith, faith is actually just making a move. You know what you want it to be. You know what you see. You know what you're stepping out on. But you really deep down in your heart, you know that you don't have any control over how you get there. But you're having faith and believing that you're going to get there at the end of the day. I hope that makes sense to somebody. So when you start talking about trust, and some of y'all act like you're waiting for an answer, I want you to come talk back to me here. To able to, LaQuinta says, trust is to be able to rely on someone confidently. Okay, I like that too. There's just two people responded so far. To be able to rely on someone confidently. I believe April said trust is without a doubt. Okay. Good. I'm just getting you to think. I'm buttering you up for something, right? If you know me, you know that we're going somewhere with this whole trust thing. So when it comes to trust, is that something that should be given or earned? Is that something that should be given or earned? I'm waiting for some comments. I see you, BK. I think trust is believing person would show up like they said they would. Okay. I see you said trust should be earned. Okay. How many you think and I'm going back and forth in the comments. I'm just having a conversation with you. Given, okay, see, now we have a difference of opinion, which is great. Great. I ain't gonna keep y'all on there long. So don't not respond and ask questions because you think I'm gonna put you on the screen. I noticed what some of y'all saying, I don't want my picture on the screen. So trust me, I know people. That's why I heard them get them on and I get them off because I know they're gonna have something to say. But I want you to stay engaged in the conversation. I see you, BK. BK says, let's see, Brittany says that it is given and it's earned. And I can go with that. Jamia says that it is given. Okay. April, she says what? I believe trust has to be earned because things can make you not trust if given and broken. Wow. Here we got Tasha saying both, depending on the situation. So let's jump into that real quick. When it comes to trust, sometimes do we or do we not trust people just strictly based off of their title? Because there is a certain expectation that comes with that person's title in your life. Like, for example, a parent. You automatically, without a shadow of a doubt, trust who? Your mom or your dad. A lot of us, because but watch, why do we trust them? I'm gonna show you this. Why do you trust your parents? You trust your parents because when you were born into this world, you didn't know any better. You didn't know any better. You had to completely and totally rely and depend on them in order to lead you and guide you. You had to you didn't know any better, didn't know anything outside of that. So whatever your parents taught you, whatever they said to you, whatever they put around you, you automatically believed it to be true simply because it was all you knew, and they're the ones that taught you that. And so what happens in a lot of cases is we give trust in areas where, or we trust in areas where people haven't taught us anything, when people haven't showed us anything, and when people haven't invested in anything else in our lives, but we trust them because they carry a certain title. Because see, you were born that way to trust. You see, what happens is when we have people in our lives, we have a certain expectation because they have this particular title. You have a lot of people that will say, this is my dad or this is my mom, so forth and so on. But when you look at some of the characteristics of a dad and a mom, these people may not carry those characteristics. But we trust them as that because of the title. And I hope that's making sense. I really want to pull this layer back so you can we can do a better job at guiding our hearts. Okay. And I like this. You're right, BK. She said titles set expectations, and when someone doesn't live up to that, it shakes us. And so my question is to that is, and I'll tell you this, it's a lot of people that have a whole lot of titles that they have not earned. Make sense? They have we're calling people sis. We're calling them BFFs. We're calling them brother. You see how the titles have been pulled down to where they don't have very much power anymore. To where we trust people, instantly, which means when I trust you, I am opening myself up to you. I am confiding in you. When I am confiding, and that's what it means to trust, basically, is to have confidence in and to confide in. Which means you've shown me that you can carry this certain level of weight, or am I confiding in you, hoping that you can carry it? I want you to think about that. So if I'm confiding in you, hoping that you can carry it, but I have no evidence to show that you can, then when you hurt me, whose fault is that? When you prove to me that you can't carry it, whose fault is that? I'll wait. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting to hear back. I'm waiting for some feedback. Ain't getting no feedback. It's crickets. Oh, your own? And do you really believe that? Do you really believe? Because let's think about it. I think for me personally, I believe in my heart if we begin to take more accountability for how we are positioned and what we allow, we could be happier. Because most of us don't take accountability for our part because we always have somebody to blame. We got to take accountability. This is not a right or a wrong thing, but this is just a self-evaluation. So when we're talking about trust, most people, and I'm finna rattle you here. Most people feel as though when they get into a relationship that the person that they're with, that they are supposed to trust them and confide in them or trust them 100%. How many of you feel like that? I'm going to show you something here in a minute. You feel like you're supposed to be able to trust your mate or your friend or let's just go ahead and talk about your significant other. You feel like you should be able to trust them 100%? Oh, don't get quiet on me now. I got 2 yeses. I'm going to wait till I get some more answers. Do you feel as though you're supposed to trust the person that you're with 100%? Right. Ones that should be able to. Okay. Yes. I used to till God showed me different. And we going to rely on that. Oh, she said no. Okay. I'm getting some answers. Okay. Thank you. I must be on a little delay. You're supposed to trust 100%. Okay. So watch this. Proverbs 1:18 says, and I'm going somewhere here. Yeah, I got a book. I got a real book. You know, this is old school right here. Proverbs 1:18 on verse number 8 says, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man." And it also says it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes. Now, when I say, should you trust them 100%, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. When it comes to trusting, if the first thing that came to your mind was you're trusting them not to cheat, you have a limited view of trust. Uh-oh. Be honest. When I said, do you think you should be able to trust them? If your mind went directly, trust them not to mess around on you. If that's where your mind instantly went. Hello. See, I'm a firm believer that trust is grown. It's not earned. It's not a job. It's grown. How was trust grown? Trust is grown through situations. And if the only thing you thought about when I asked about, do you think you should trust a person? If the only thing you thought about was if you're going to get cheated on, this is the area of your life where possibly you're missing the gold mine in relationships because you're only concerned about him being with or her being with somebody else. Trust is bigger. Can I trust you with my heart? Can I trust you with my history? Can I trust you when I don't have anything to bring to the table? Can I trust you to lead me down the right path? Or can I trust you to follow me down the right path? Can I trust you that if I make a mistake and do something wrong, that everybody in your family don't know about it before me? See, instantly it's like most of my ladies, you instantly think about infidelity. But as it relates to a man, his trust is totally different. His trust is totally different. Whether you want to believe it or not, a man is not really concerned a whole bunch in the beginning if you're going to go off and do something else with someone else. And I'm going to show you why. He's like that. I can only speak for a few of us because we know what it took to get you. And if we worked hard enough, you didn't give us the chance right offhand. We understand that as men, that from an emotional aspect, if you're into me emotionally, that means more than anything to you as a woman physically. I hope I'm making sense. So when me as a man, when I begin to open up about my past, about what I've dealt with, what I'm dealing with, how I'm hurting, if I am vulnerable, can I trust you with my tears? See, the enemy's got us so wrapped up into thinking that trust and all that stuff, it's all got something to do with somebody being with somebody else. When in actuality, that's the easiest part. And I say it like this. When you trust somebody 100% and you have not grown to that level, meaning you haven't been through anything that will require you to trust them, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak just because we say we're boyfriend and girlfriend, or just because we say we're husband and wife. There has to be something there to build the trust. Doesn't mean that I don't trust you and I expect you to do wrong. It's this in this particular area, we don't have experience together in this area, so the trust level hasn't been grown in that area. We don't have a foundation in that particular area. If we've always had a financial security, if we've always had that, if our relationship has always been on point financially, we sit down and we have our business meetings and our money is right and we know which direction we're going to go into and all this other kind of good stuff. Yeah, I can trust you to budget. I can trust that you got it together. But what happens if something happens and we don't have anything? Can I trust you when we don't have anything? Can I trust you not to walk out because now I'm less than? See, it's a whole lot bigger than just the whole infidelity. See, this is what that says. I don't care what you going through emotionally, just don't cheat on me. I don't care if your heart broke. I don't care if you ain't got nobody to talk to. I don't care what's going on, how you feel about this. Just don't cheat on me. I will trust you as long as you don't cheat on me. You see this? So when the word of God tells us in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all of your way, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. He is essentially saying, trust in me with all your heart, mind, and soul. Meaning you're going to go through some stuff that's going to affect your heart, that's going to affect your mind, that's going to affect your soul. I'm not going to be able to prove to you that I am trustworthy unless we go through this and you see when you turn around, I'm still there. That's exactly what he's saying in that area. So how do I know I can trust you in a certain area if I'm never tried? You prove every day you can be trusted around other men and other women. You prove that every day because you get up on social media, you go to work, you go to the grocery store, you do all of these different things. And when people are shooting they shot, hey, you probably shooting it down. So you prove that every day. But for some reason, that's the only thing that we don't trust you with is around other people. So it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that. See, Satan has had his way in our marriages and in our relationships. Yeah. Why? He's had his way in those things simply because we have a lack of trust. You have people that have separate bank accounts that are married. Now, this is you. Hey, this is your business. But I'm just going to just tell you the business. The Bible says the two shall become what? One. To have two different bank accounts and your bills in your house are split 50-50. I paid my part, but you didn't pay your part. Somewhere there is some distrust in there. Somewhere that's saying, okay, well, I don't trust you to take care of this. I don't trust you to take care of that. And somebody said, well, what about me just wanting my own? I don't have a problem, baby, with you wanting your own. But when I guarantee you that when things start going in circles and we haven't brought everything together, it's too easy to walk away when we're already separated from the beginning. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with you having a little side account, for your spending change and all that kind of stuff. But for people that just have two totally separate accounts, somewhere there was some damage done in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying you get together today and then tomorrow you combine your account. No, I said we grow. We grow into that. Now, watch this. Hold up. Watch this. If you make 20% of the money in the house, I know you're gonna be excited to combine your account. If your salary is $40,000 a year and your spouse's salary is $180,000 a year, baby, I think we need to combine our accounts. Because the Bible say we got to become one. No, but you got to keep that same energy if it was the other way around. But then on the flip side, if you have someone that is bad at managing money, that's bad at doing certain things through a process of time and storms and suffering and through all of these things, you see how they operate. And they either gain trust or they lose it. Or, and I won't even say lose it, they just never grow it with you in certain areas. See, when it comes to relationships, all kind of relationships, some of y'all, watch this. If you were to go out and let's say y'all end up having to get into a fight or something like that, let's just say hypothetically, you get into it with some crazy folk, right? You got your group around you. You know who you can trust to swing and help you. And you know who gonna probably try to reason and talk us out of it and get in the car and go home. How do you know that? You know that because you've been through something with those people and they've shown you who they are and you know how far you can go with them. You would be crazy to go out there and start a fight just because you got a bunch of people and you don't even really know that these people got your back or not because you've never been through anything together. I'm hoping you're understanding these principles that we're talking about here. When it comes to trusting, trust is something that we grow into. And here it is. This is what it means when I get to know you and I take time to get to know you and I see you in certain situations. See, some of you all are going through struggles and you're going through situations right now with whoever you're with. And the world today will tell you, oh, that is a toxic situation. You need to leave. Every sign of confusion or every sign of conflict is not toxic. Some signs of conflict are just to reveal exactly who you're working with. It's to reveal the character of that person or to reveal the character of that relationship. And at some point, we got to get to the point where we got to stop running and say, okay, I don't want to put more on you than you're showing me that you're capable of carrying. And this is how you protect your heart. When a person shows you their limitations, it's not to put them down and say, well, you know what, you can't carry this, so you ought to be able, you ought to be able. When you don't know a person's history, when you don't know what they've been through, you don't know how many people have let them down. Therefore, now they find it easy to let other people down. When you put that undue pressure on them and you put all of that trust in them, you do not give them room to make a mistake. You don't give them room to make a mistake. You have to give people room to make a mistake. And if a person has given you that space and they've given you that room to make a mistake, by all means, you don't just take advantage of it. And once they forgive you and they give you grace, you just continue to do the same thing over and over again because they gonna forgive you. They're not gonna be mad at you. But I want you to pay attention to that. There comes a time when a person shows you exactly who they are. You either pull back or you gravitate towards them. I'm just talking to mature people right here. I need to talk to mature people. Let me help you. This is how I've learned over the last year or 2 years to kind of keep my peace and to keep my sanity. I like to see whenever something goes wrong in any type of relationship or friendship or whatever that I may have, I put myself in the mirror. And I say, you know what could I have done? Did I expect too much out of that person? You know, did I go too far? Because see, I'm the type of person when I love hard. When you're in with me, you're in with me. But I still have to learn that in certain areas of my life, sometimes what I expect from a person could be more than they're capable of giving. And that's not their fault. That's mine. That's my fault because I didn't give them time to mess up. See, this is when you know the true character and the integrity of a person is when a mistake is made or when something is done out of order or when there's conflict. You pay attention to how they respond and what they do if they own up to it. I can tell a lot about a person's character who know that they're in the wrong spot and in the wrong position and they're given the opportunity to make it right, but they choose not to. That person has an issue with pride. Pride is the killer of a whole lot of things, y'all. Pride is the killer of a whole lot of things. When you cannot admit where you are wrong without saying, yeah, but they shouldn't have. No, that is pride. And last I checked, Satan was kicked out of heaven for pride, y'all. Pride. Watch this. Oh, God, thank you, Lord. Satan was kicked out of heaven for having pride. But then he deceived Adam and Eve, and they came before God in shame. I heard someone say that a woman said, and it made so much sense. She said the opposite of pride is shame. And so sometimes because we're ashamed, we don't want to say what we're ashamed of. So we're prideful and we're boasting and we don't want to admit where we're wrong. This is how you can truly learn how to forgive people is when you look in the mirror and you say, you know what? I could have done that better. I mean, I knew how much that weighed. I knew how much I've been carrying that issue for 35 years of my life, and I just dumped it on you. And now I'm mad because you couldn't carry a weight that wasn't even yours. See, a lot of people, we go through issues and problems for years, and then when we go sit and talk to somebody about it, we're upset because they can't fix your yearly problem in 30 minutes. When in actuality, it takes some peeling back of the layers, some unraveling. Baby, you have got to hurt before you heal. You got to hurt before you heal. Got to hurt before you heal. And that's what a lot of us don't want to do. We don't want to hurt. We don't want to go through the process of healing because it hurts too bad. But this is when you lean on the word. It says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Meaning that this problem that we're dealing with, it ain't supposed to last forever. I ain't supposed to be like this forever. See, trust happens over a period of time. And here it is. Wow. I trust you to be you. I trust you to be you. I trust you to be what you've shown me. You trust me to be what I've shown you. So if I've never shown you that I can go out here and build a fence, why would you bring me the materials and say, okay, build this fence? No, I'll cook you a tough meal though. You can trust me to make sure that I feed you right. Why? Because you've seen it, you know it, you probably experienced it. You've grown to that point with me because of the experience. So anytime I'm getting into a new relationship, whether it be with a job, whether it be with a person, whether it be with friends, whatever it is, they don't earn anything. They don't purchase anything. We grow. We grow. And if we're growing, once we reach capacity at a certain level, either that's where it is, or we have to go through something in order to get to the next level. Every relationship that is strong and that is trustworthy has gone through something in order to get there. Now, this is what happens when it comes to your relationship or our relationship with Christ. We grow. He know who we are. He understands that he needs to be on the inside of us in order to make. I look. That's tough. I think I got God. Well, if you know, if it's thank you, God. Word says He won't put any more on us than we can bear, which means I know what you can handle. So I trust you to handle what I've equipped you to handle. There are certain things that you want to be trusted with that you're not equipped to carry. You see how He knows us. That's not your battle, that is. Why did you're responding like her? You need to respond like this. That's not you. Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I already knew you. I've already ordained you. I've already placed. I know who you are. So I'm not going to put you in a position where I haven't already invested in you. So when you mess up and you drop the ball in a certain area, at least I know, I already knew that you were going to drop the ball in that area because number one, I equipped you. Now you have to be strengthened. And what we have to do in our relationship with God is as we go through our process, God is saying, okay, I'm with you. You have to learn how to trust me. We have to learn and we have to grow in our trust with God. This is why he says, put no confidence in man. He said, it's better to trust in the Lord than to put your confidence in man. And how do you grow in your faith? How you grow in your confidence? How you grow in all of that with God? You grow in that through trials, through tribulations. And once he's made a way for you before, it's easier the next time. I didn't say it was let me change that. I said it's easier. I didn't say it was easy. It's easier the next time when you're in a certain level, when you're in a certain area, when you're in a certain storm. It's easier to trust God for the outcome because he's done it before. Why? Because you've grown to that level of trust with him. Now, when a person has grown to a certain level of trust with you and then they begin to act a total different way, that's a clear indication that something's not right. Now you can say, you broke my trust, because that's not you. So gone are the days that we trust people that we've never grew with. And we're tarnished and we're broken because somebody we just met last year, we gave them our heart. And they broke our heart because they proved that they couldn't be trusted with our heart once they unraveled everything that was in there. And then it makes it more difficult for us to move on in life because we gave something so heavy to somebody that proved or that never proved they could handle it or they could hold it. And that ain't their fault. Well, it's their fault for misrepresenting themselves. No, you got intuition, right? So you can't play the intuition when it's only convenient. You have God. You have the word of God. You have the Bible. You got these things that tell you, say, slow down. Slow down. I think I said it last week and I'll say it again. You cannot control which way the worm wiggles once you open the can. This is why it's good to just talk to people. It's good to see them go through their conflict. I know one thing at the church, when I see conflict, when I see disagreements, when I see things just not lining up, I jump in those things. I get in them because I like to see who's going to play victim. I like to see how the victim is going to respond. And then I like to see where they're coming from, because if I know their history, I can understand how they respond to a certain situation. And I can say, well, let's try this a different way. And then when they act a certain way, I trust them to act the way that I know them. So I'm not going to be bent out of shape because I ain't going to use no names, because such and such cuss somebody out on the parking lot. I ain't finna put them out the church and be mad. I'll look and say, oh, that's all he did? Or that's all she did? All right, then I'll deal with that person, because guess what? I trust them to that level, but I'm expecting them to grow. Does that make sense? See, when I get to that point to where I'm not giving you more, we put more on people than we do on Jesus. We got more trust in people than we do God. People of God, we got to do better. Look in that mirror. Look in that mirror. I'm going to put this up because it's kind of small on my screen. I'm going to read this. Saying about God showing it to me. Thank God for helping me not repeat a cycle of trusting people. Ooh, that's good. How am I so quick? Why am I so quick to trust someone I barely know and have a hard time trusting him? That's a lot of people, Tasha. That's a lot of us, because it's something tangible. It's something that we can grab. It's something that we can see. But people can show you who they want you to see. But then when tests and trials come, that's when you get the chance to see who you're really dealing with. Now, I am so glad when we were growing up and I was growing up, I am so happy that social media wasn't around. Because in social media, boy, you can be who you want to be. You can be who you want to be, boy. anytime you want to be it. And people fall in love for a filter. When I say filter, I'm talking about the person, just somebody that they just created themselves. We had to get to know each other. We had to go through some things. We got to pay attention that when it comes to trusting God, God is going to give you the decision. He's going to give, not the decision, he's going to give you the direction. You're going to make the decision. He's going to direct your path. He's going to tell you, slow down. Slow down. You're moving too fast. Pause. Be quiet. Just listen. Watch. Oh, that is not a reason to run. No, you're equipped to handle that issue right there. He's broken. You're equipped to handle that. Whether you realize it or not, the Bible says we are the light of the world. If we as the kingdom citizens are the light of the world, that means we are expected in dark places. Whew, felt that. We are expected to show up in the dark places of somebody else's life and to be the representation. And a lot of times what happens is you get too many people that are wounded in the same area that depend on each other to bring each other out. But we are too much alike. We are not equally yoked. Every true relationship requires time. It requires some downtime. It requires some disappointments. It requires some struggles. It requires some suffering. It requires some things in that relationship that's going to say, I need to see who you are. And you're not looking at it, look, I want this relation. I need to see. No, you ain't looking at it like that. But what it is as you're in this thing together, you will start seeing how that person responded. And not a coached response. Not a response that is coached. Well, you supposed to. No, I'm supposed to do this the way I do it because this is what I know. Now, how I do it may not necessarily be the best, but I still got to grow. Still got to grow. Still got to grow. And that's how we come together. See, some of you have your best friends. They've been your best friend for a long time. You probably even, some of y'all probably done even got into a physical fight with your best friend. You heard what I said? Probably done got into a physical fight with your best friend. And even though that person hit you physically, you still trust them. Why? Because you've been through something. Because when you grow into it, it's hard to break it. When you grow into it, it is hard to break it. Not even a physical fight will change your heart about that person because you know them. Oh, I'd have paid to see that little fight. Who won? Why? And why? See, I'm gonna tell you what a real friend gonna say. The real friend ain't gonna say they won. The real friend gonna say, it was a tie. She got her licks and I got mine. But look at the trust. Look at the trust. Because see what happens when you go through too many bad things when it comes to relationship, when you put your trust in too many people that you never grew with in that area. See, I told you, look. It was a tie. That's a friend right there. See, what happens is when we go through too many bad relationships, we put all the weight of our past relationships on our current one. Because we go into our new relationships telling them about what the other person did that broke our heart, that messed us up. So we go into it already broken, already wounded. And we go into it with this dare. We go into it with this expectation that you bet not, because the last person, instead of just taking our time and saying, you know what, we need to grow. I don't think you fall in love. I don't think you fall in love. When's the last time you fell on purpose? I think you grow in love. I really believe you grow in love. I believe you grow with a person and you get to a point to where you can't see yourself without this person. And I hear people say, well, I wasn't trying to talk to him like that. I wasn't trying to go there with him. It just happened. No, it didn't just happen. Did you call him every day? Yep. Did you go out to eat with him? Yep. Did you laugh at little silly stuff? Yep. Did you go walking? Yep. Did y'all go grocery shopping together every now and then? Yep. Did you have to pick him up from work? Yep. Did you talk to him about certain things that any other way you felt so free to talk to him about all your issues? Yep. You can't say you didn't try to fall in love, because all of those are steps into getting to know a person from a character aspect. So that's not an accident. If you're not ready to get into a relationship with somebody, don't call them, don't go out with them, don't accept anything from them. But learn to love with purpose, grow in love. And then even as you're growing in love with people, you can learn then how far to go with them, they've even shown you that they're capable of handling what you bring to the table. But at the end of the day, you got to show that you're capable of handling what they bring to the table. And it may not look like your daddy. It may not look like your mama. It may not look like everybody else around you. But there's something in your heart that says, I got this. The only thing a person should want to be for you is themselves. And if they have to go outside of themselves, then you're probably dating a filter. So when it comes to that trust, when it comes to that trust, you need to grow into it. And brothers, if you out there, man, listen here. If you have someone that God has blessed you with, that hears you, that sees you, that covers you, that listens to you, that doesn't judge you, that was there to help pick you up when you was picking up trash for a living. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just using it as an example. If you've gone to school and you done start making something of yourself, when you God has given you that person that's been right there with you the whole time, you got a gift. Because you would be amazed at how many men don't have that person that they can absolutely trust with their emotions. Men suffer in silence a lot. But what ends up happening is always somebody else out there willing to listen. So, brother, if you got that person that's willing to listen, let her listen. And be thankful unto God that he's put somebody in your life that you can trust with your vulnerabilities. That's where the trust thing is for us men. It's in the area of vulnerabilities. We're not worried about you cheating on us. We're not worried about you going out doing it. We're not worried about another man taking you. We're not worried about those things. What bothers a man in the area of trust is if I tell you something in my heart, are you going to throw it in my face later on? Are you going to use it as a weapon? Are your girlfriends going to know about it? That's where our trust level from a male aspect is, right? Once that line is broken, then we have a whole issue. So trust is bigger than just being cheated on. You get it? Well, that time went by fast. Time went by real fast, didn't it? Well, I ain't got nothing else to say. Let me give you a couple minutes to throw a question out there. If everybody want to throw a question out there, then maybe we can all chime in on it. Since ain't nobody giving me no questions, we grow in love and we grow in trust. And with each situation that God allows us to go through, it's another opportunity for us to grow in our trust for Him. And if we take that same mentality and we put that into our relationships and our growth with people, we'll be more successful at categorizing relationships in our lives. We'll be more successful. Our heart won't be as tender. Our heart won't be as easily accessible. Our hearts won't be so quick to be broken. Because when I learn to see you for who you are and not put a demand on you for who I expect you to be, I may be alone a lot of times because I wanted you to be that person, but you're not. And some of y'all know where I'm going with that. Nobody's there yet. Nobody's there yet. I don't care how old you are. You can be 45 or 50. If you just met somebody last week and they're 45 or 50, if you take that attitude, well, they 45, they ought to be here by now. If you taking that attitude into a relationship, don't even get into it. Because you're trying to force them to meet where you are. Right? We are all works in progress. And I don't care how long you've been married, you are still learning stuff about each other. You're still learning stuff about your mate. You're still learning stuff about your spouse, and you're continuing to grow. I promise you, if we were thinking like this, some of us would have never gotten divorced. Some of us that are divorced. If we learned how to slow down and stop comparing our marriages and our friendships and our relationships to what somebody else's look like, and we realize that these things that we're going through from a relationship aspect are just there to help build the character of the relationship so I can know who I'm working with. But instead, what we do is, because it's not perfect, we run. We run. Nah. Stick it out. Keep everybody else out your business. Stick it out. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. You prove that you're not over a past situation when you have to take every opportunity to directly or indirectly make a comment about the person that hurt you. That heart is not ready to move on. And I want to let you know, time doesn't stop because you're not ready to move. There's a possibility you can miss your season because you're hung up in last fall. Don't make the next person pay for something that they didn't do. Grow into it. Grow into it and work through it. All right? Hope y'all got this. Hope you understand it. Like it, love it, share it. Again, now you can send me an email. If you have a love letter that you would like to send it, you can send it to davidrministries@gmail.com. That's David R Ministries. Let me put that right here. Yeah, I'm typing it out right here, just so you can see it. Here we go. I want y'all to send your emails to David R Ministries. Hope I spelled it right, @gmail.com. All right. Now, I'm going to take you to the word. I'm going to take you to the Bible. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything because a lot of us, we want somebody to tell us we're great. We don't do anything wrong. But until you're able to sit with yourself, because that's the fragrance that we're giving off. I got to be able to sit with myself and see what I'm doing, see what I'm bringing to the table. And just because this is something that I've always done and nobody's ever called me out on it, it doesn't mean that it's not affecting other things around me. It doesn't mean that it's not repelling other things. Being caught up in yourself, sometimes it could be a repellent to what you really want. Pay attention to that. And ask God to help you. Lord, help me change it. I see this as an issue. I need to work on this. Because see, what Satan does is what Satan will do is once you start realizing things within yourself that need to change, he'll start showing you everybody else's fault. He'll start showing you well, they don't do this, they didn't do that. And if I was to say something every time this, then he would give you all of that ammo. And the only thing that's doing is that's pride. That's pride. You don't need closure in that situation. That door is closed. I just need some closure. Man, they got a whole another situation going on. You do not need closure. That's done. Live for right now. Grow and trust God. All right. I love y'all. For those of you that know me, you know how my heart is. Pray that you got something out of this tonight. Keep your eyes open because you never know, man. When them letters come in, I'm liable to pop up at any given time. All right. God bless. Y'all have a blessed night. See you in the morning. God gives me a word in the morning. You're going to hear a word in the morning. Normally, that's when I give a word. It's every Monday. But if not, you can go back and replay this. This is David D. Robinson. The D is for Dion. Pray that you receive something tonight. Love y'all. Y'all be good. I'll be good.